two young brothers, one named Alex. Alex's older brother helps him hide in a cupboard to keep him safe. Suddenly, an injured man stumbles into their hiding place, begging for help. But instead of helping, Alex's brother screams for the rest of the family.
He's in here!
No, God, no!
The family quickly arrives, all wearing strange masks. They grab the injured man and drag him away. A woman cries and begs them to stop, but the family kills him in a scary ritual. The story then skips 30 years ahead. A kind woman named Grace, who grew up in an orphanage, is about to marry Alex, who is now all grown up. Alex is the same boy from the palace, but he left his family years ago because of the terrible things that happened there. Even though he hasn't been close to them, Alex goes back to his family for the wedding. Before the wedding, Alex's older brother warns Grace about their family, telling her she can still back out. Even Alex hints that his family is strange and might cause trouble, but Grace trusts Alex and decides to marry him. Alex's father doesn't like Grace because she's an orphan and not from a rich family. Still, they allow the wedding because it brings Alex back to the family. Some family members think Grace just wants their money, but she doesn't know anything about their secrets. After the wedding, Grace notices Alex's aunt spying on them through a hidden door. The aunt tells them everyone is waiting. Alex explains that every new family member must play a game at midnight, chosen by drawing a card from a special box. He says it's a family tradition started by an ancestor who got rich by playing games. Grace feels nervous but agrees to play, thinking it's harmless. Alex assures her it's just for fun and that winning doesn't matter. When Alex's father talks to him, Alex admits he hasn't told Grace everything about the game. He promises to leave with her if anything goes wrong. Grace meets Alex's family and feels comforted when his mother talks to her kindly. For the first time, Grace feels like she's part of a family. But her happiness doesn't last long. When Alex's sister and her family arrive, Grace is taken to a room where only family members are allowed. Inside, Grace sees weapons and other strange objects, which make her uneasy. She notices a painting of a man, and Alex's father says it's his own father. He explains the family tradition, saying his father once played cards with a man named Lubail. After winning, Lubail gave him a magical box and promised the family would become rich if they followed one rule: always play the game chosen by the box. This tradition has been passed down ever since, but over time, it has turned into something much darker. The story picks up as Alex's siblings share the games they played when they joined the family. Grace then takes her turn and draws a card from the box. The game is hide and seek. Everyone goes silent, and Grace nervously laughs, thinking it's just a silly game. Alex's father calmly tells her to hide while the family looks for her. Grace, not knowing the danger, agrees.
Good luck.
The family follows strict rules from Lubail, locking all the doors and turning off security cameras. Music starts to play as the family arms themselves with weapons.
Here I come.
Alex refuses to join the hunt and stays in a room, guarded by his sister-in-law so he can't help Grace. Meanwhile, Grace hides in an elevator but feels restless and decides to come out. Alex finds Grace and quietly leads her to another room where they both try to hide. A caretaker hears their footsteps and thinks it's one of Alex's nephews sneaking around. She enters the room, but Alex's sister-in-law accidentally shoots her in the eye, killing her instantly. Grace is horrified as the family casually discusses what to do with the body. Hiding nearby, she listens to their chilling conversation. Alex's brother asks if the caretaker's blood could work for their ritual, but the aunt insists it has to be Grace's blood. If Grace isn't dead by sunrise, the family believes they'll face punishment from Lubail. Grace finally understands the terrifying truth. This game is a deadly hunt, and her life is at stake. Alex explains that the hide and seek card is the worst possible outcome. The family believes they must kill her to satisfy Lubail, or they'll all suffer a terrible fate. Alex is determined to protect her and comes up with a plan. He tells Grace to go to the kitchen while he works on unlocking the doors. As Grace heads to the kitchen,
Found her.
the family spots her and starts chasing her. Thinking quickly, she runs into the study to hide. There, she meets Alex's brother, who surprises her by showing a moment of kindness. He admits he doesn't want to hurt her because Alex truly loves her. He gives her 10 seconds to escape, but warns that he has to alert the family afterward. Grace runs as he yells for the others,
He's in the study!
Angering them for letting her go. The family tries to track Grace using the security cameras, but discovers Alex has unlocked all the exits. Grace's escape is blocked by Alex's uncle, who attacks her. After a tough struggle, Grace injures him and manages to get away. Meanwhile, Alex's father and brother overpower Alex, locking him up in handcuffs so he can't help Grace anymore. Grace hides in the elevator again, but finds the terrified caretaker there. The caretaker tries to expose Grace's hiding spot by yelling, but her neck gets caught in the elevator door, killing her in a gruesome accident. The aunt, who has been orchestrating the family's actions, is revealed to be the same woman from the movie's opening scene. She explains to Alex's father that Lubail demands sacrifices from the family, starting with her husband and now targeting Alex. The family believes Alex must kill Grace to keep their fortune and avoid punishment. Grace, now fully aware of the family's evil practices, escapes to the stables. She finds Alex's young nephew there and assumes he's hiding in fear. But the boy unexpectedly shoots her in the hand. Grace punches the boy, knocking him unconscious. While trying to escape, she falls into a pit filled with rotting bodies, victims of the family's past rituals. Disgusted and terrified, she climbs out, injuring herself further when a nail pierces her palm. Desperate to escape, Grace runs to the front door and tries to flag down a passing driver, but the man refuses to help her.
What the f*** is wrong with you?
She runs into the woods, hiding behind a tree, but Alex's uncle catches up to her. In a desperate fight, Grace uses a wire to strangle him and takes his car. Driving away, she contacts an operator to call the police, but her relief turns to despair when the operator disconnects.
No, what? No, what the fuck? Are you fucking kidding me?
It's company policy,
No,
man.
please.
Claiming the car is stolen. Before Grace can figure out her next move, Alex's uncle regains consciousness, knocks her out, and puts her in the back seat. He gleefully calls the family, showing them that he has captured Grace. Grace wakes up in the car as it speeds through the night. Gathering her strength, she fights back against Alex's uncle, causing the car to crash into a tree. The uncle dies instantly, but Grace survives. Dazed and hurt, she stumbles away from the wreck, only to be found by Alex's brother. Desperate, she begs him for help, but he betrays her, knocking her out and dragging her back to the mansion. When Grace wakes up, she's tied to an altar. The family surrounds her, chanting ominously as they drink a strange liquid to complete the ritual. Just as Alex's father raises a knife to kill her, the family starts vomiting blood. They've been poisoned. Alex's brother had secretly spiked their drinks to save Grace. But his brave act costs him his life when his wife, furious at his betrayal, shoots him. Using the chaos to her advantage, Grace fights back, knocking the woman out and making another run for freedom. Meanwhile, Alex escapes from his handcuffs and finds the room where his brother made his sacrifice. Heartbroken but determined, he sets off to find Grace. As Grace flees, she's confronted by Alex's father. She defends herself fiercely, using a lamp to set him on fire. She then encounters Alex's mother, who accuses Grace of being unworthy of their family. The two women engage in a brutal fight. Grace grabs Lubail's puzzle box and uses it to kill Alex's mother. Alex arrives just in time to witness his mother's death. Devastated, he turns on Grace, capturing her and delivering her back to the remaining family members. Despite his earlier promises to protect her, Alex decides to carry out the ritual himself. He moves to stab her, but Grace manages to dodge, and the knife grazes her shoulder instead. Even though she's injured, she refuses to give up. At that moment, the sun rises, and the room falls silent. The family freezes, expecting Lubail's punishment. When nothing happens right away, they begin to believe they're safe. Their relief turns to rage, and they prepare to attack Grace. But then Alex's aunt suddenly explodes into a violent burst of blood. The family panics as, one by one, they all explode in gruesome fashion. Alex's sister tries to escape with her children, but they meet the same fate. Her husband begs for mercy while holding Lubail's box, but he explodes as well. Now, only Grace and Alex are left. Grace, exhausted and covered in blood, watches in shock as the curse finally destroys the family. Alex pleads with her to forgive him, saying they can start over together. But Grace coldly throws her wedding ring at him, declaring she wants a divorce. As the ring hits the floor, Alex explodes, leaving Grace as the sole survivor of the cursed family. The mansion is engulfed in flames as Grace steps outside. Lubail briefly appears in the fire, as if acknowledging her survival and signaling that she has won. Grace, bloodied and exhausted, sits on the mansion steps. She lights a cigarette, finally at peace after the nightmare she endured.